Alright, so we want to apply the law of cosines here. So we're given this problem here, and this is, you may think this is kind of a silly example, but you could deal with this in any kind of a situation where you know all three sides. Okay? Let's read through it. Are any of you golfers?
I played lessons.
A little bit? Okay. I haven't played in almost 11 years, so this would probably be me on a really, really good day. So, so here we have, here's the thing, even if you know nothing about golf, use the diagram and just try to, we can at least figure out what they're asking us to find, okay? So first of all, here's the tee. We're hitting off the tee towards the green, so they labeled that G. Okay? So he played his tee shot a distance of 220 meters to point A. So that's this distance right here, from the tee to point A where the ball landed first. Then he played a 165 meter 6-iron to the green. Again, it doesn't matter if you know what this means or not. He went from here to here, and it was 165 meters. Okay? Now, the distance from the tee to the green was 340 meters in a straight line. Okay? Unfortunately, he didn't go in a straight line. So the question is, how far off? Determine the angle the golfer was offline with his tee shot. So obviously they're wanting us to find one of those angles. Which angle is it? T. Okay? They want us to find this angle. Well, I don't need X because it's labeled T. They want us to find this angle right here. Okay? Now, what are we going to use to do that? The law of cosines. Okay? Because we know side, 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 so we can then find an angle. So when we set up the law of cosines, it's going to have the cosine of angle T in it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the key part to this whole thing, though, in setting it up, is making sure we have the right thing over here.
T squared?
What side is side T?
165.
Oh, 165.
The 165. That's a real key on these problems, is to make sure you get this on the correct side over here. Otherwise, you'll be finding an angle of the triangle, but not the right one. Okay? If I put 220 over here, that would be finding angle G. Or if I put 340 over here, that would be finding angle A. Alright? So as it is, we've got the side across from the angle we want over here. So now we just have to use the other two sides to fill in the rest. So it's 220 meters squared plus 340 squared minus 2 times 220 times 340 times the cosine of T. Okay? So, let's figure out what all this is. This is 48,400. This one, what's 340 squared? I know it ends in 100.
It's 115,600. 115,600.
115,600. Okay. And then
It's 149,600. Cosine.
okay. And then what's 165 squared?
17225.
17222.
27. 27.
Oh, 27,225. Okay. And obviously you don't necessarily have to write down all of those, but let's take it down to cosine of T equals what?
0.914.
and so on. You have that in your calculator. Did everyone get to that point?
No way.
Okay. Make sure that as you're doing this with your calculator, that you get to that point. Okay. Remember, you cannot combine the minus 149,600 with these two because it has the cosine. You've got to divide by that. Okay? Is anyone having trouble getting that?
Sorry, I was just.
Okay.
Jacob having trouble.
I don't know.
Alright, so then what does angle T equal?
The answer part is
23.9.
23.9 degrees. Okay. That's off a bit. Okay, 23.9 degrees. Okay, so he was off a little bit.
No. Aim's not.
What's the right degree that you need for the?
It was the wind.
What?
What's the right degree that you need to go if he was off a little bit?
Oh, well,
It's
that,
this.
understand what that is. This isn't degrees off as far as like high or low or something like that. He was trying to aim front at point G, but his shot went 23.9 degrees to the left of where he was aiming.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what we were trying to find there. Okay. So. All right.
27. Yeah.
Now, another one that I want to look at is one of these ones that involves bearings. Okay.
I always miss this problem on tests.
I don't get there.
Well, bearings. Notice they're in this case we're given a diagram, but understand that bearings, if it's just given as an angle, it's measured from due north. Okay, so every point. Every time they say, hey, we started here and we went at this bearing, you need to put a north marker there. And in fact, I would even recommend going one step further and go ahead and put the full north, south, east, west, like crosshairs there. That'll help you, especially as we'll see with alternate interior angles. We've seen those before. You'll be able to use those a little bit, okay? So it says Ritva and Esco leave point P, okay, at the same time. Ritva walks 4 kilometers on a bearing of 40 degrees. So here's our north, south, east, west. We're starting at due north and we measure to the right. Okay, you always go clockwise when you're measuring bearings this way. Okay. Then he stopped at this point and he went 6 kilometers on a bearing of 155 degrees. Now you don't need to get out a protractor and measure your angles, but if you'll at least draw them somewhat accurately, that helps, okay? 155 is a little short of 180, so notice it's at least making an obtuse angle, okay? Now Esco went straight from the beginning to the campsite, okay? So this was Esco's route.
Less than 10.
Alright? So, yes, actually, we know that it took less than 10 kilometers.
So it will be
Yeah,
Esco.
of course you do.
Okay? So, yeah, I'd rather be Esco. Maybe there was something really nice to look at up here, but who knows? Alright, so how far does Esco hike? Well, to do that, you can anticipate we're probably going to have side angle side, right? The key is figuring out what that is. Okay? So, we've got to figure out this angle. Okay? Now, if you'll look here, this is where drawing the north, south, east, west comes in handy. This was 40 degrees, which means so is this part of that angle. Notice that's not the entire angle we're looking for.
We know the other is 180 minus.
Right here,
180 minus.
yes, we will do that. Right here, here's north-south, here's north-south. Those are parallel. So if we look at his path as the transversal, then this 40 degrees is the same as this angle right here. Okay? You're with me on that?
Yeah.
All right, now, so there's 40. Now, you guys, I've heard a few say already, subtract from 180, subtract that 155 from 180, and that gives us this part over here, which is 25 degrees. So, what's this whole angle then? 65 degrees. Okay?
I don't know how we got the 25.
Because from north to south
Oh, it's
would be
100.
180, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
155.
And then you use the law of cosine.
Now we know side angle side. We can use the law of cosines. Okay? So we'll hold off on that for a moment, actually figuring out what that is. I'm going to call this E for ESCO. We'll find side E. Think about part B. Part B, what are we really looking for on part B?
Angle B.
Southeast.
Well, it is kind of southeast. We're looking for a bearing, right?
Yeah.
If it's talking about direction, they've given all of our other directions in terms of bearings, then we should give this answer in bearings. So it's looking for this whole angle right here, right?
Yes.
So we're going to need to figure out this angle in the triangle and then add 40. Okay? So this is going to be 40 plus whatever y is. Okay?
Well, don't you know that like that right
First
angle
pie's
right there is
140.
90? So we're really only looking for like that
The
little part.
first top.
Yeah, we do. The problem is trying to find just that little part.
Okay.
How many times 90 then?
It's 50.
From north to east is
Oh.
exactly
The
90.
other part is 50.
So we don't know what this is.
Because
You're right. But it goes down below due east, and we don't know how far down it goes. So this is where there are a number of things you could do, but since we need this whole part here, we'll find that angle in the triangle, and then add it to the 40. Okay? Now the rest of those, once you have that, basically you solve the whole triangle, and then C and D are basically applications of all the measurements you now know in the triangle. Okay? So let's go ahead and what I want to do the remainder of the time here is work on in some small groups to actually solve some of these. So I'm going to have you start with this one. I'll get a solution up here, and just don't look until you guys want to check your answers. But then after that, move on to page 422, starting with 37, and you can keep going. Either get the textbook or a blank version of this is online already. So if you want to bring that up and then you can see each problem, you could do that as well. All right? But go ahead and let's start this time by working our way through this. Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
This is parallel to this.
Yes.
So this one should be 140.
Well, we could say we could say, since that's 40, then this part would be 50, so that would be 50 right here.
I didn't take square root of
You
it.
could, and then figure out that that's 40.
This
Did you
one,
get there?
oh yeah.
Okay,
So this is
because you're right, that is 50 right there, but the problem is we don't know what that little piece is there. So that's why we're just gonna find that whole angle Y in the triangle.
5.63.
Okay.
So we use the sine rule.
Yeah, we'll use the law of
Okay, this
sines.
one, okay, this one, sorry.
Okay. Go ahead and work with somebody, push your desks together or.
Hang on, make sure we're right.
No, I'm using my calculator.
Why not the inspire?
Yeah, the tree apart.
Well, I just,
You prefer
I
that
don't
one?
know, I've always used this. I've used this for a long time, I'm a little more comfortable with it. I probably should use the Inspire more, but
The best.
that's okay.
One.
Why? Did you say that's not?
5.63. So you got 5.63 for you, right?
Wait,
There you go.
Inspire is one, you have inspire.
Yeah.
I got it, so you have it.
第一题是5.6，第二题其实42.9。 It's X. It's X. Either Riva is go to the bearing and the Esco is directly moved to the street line.
Yeah, yeah, Ritva or whatever his name is went the long way around. Esco just went straight there.
He was
what do you have for the index?
75.
40 bottom.
Jesus. It's like 40.
I'm putting it in, I'm getting, I did it in.
I got 75. Well, 74.98. Sine of 65. How do you get 5.6? Sine of the index.
他们的题方向，所以就是北的，这是不。题上讲的
Oh, you never played that.
Hey,
I know I did.
东南南
Is it 96?
Since-
Is it 96?
hey, listen up. Since Y is going to be the biggest angle of this triangle, what might we do?
In the unit.
It's going to be an ambiguous case if we use the law of sines, right? So, two ideas here. One possibility, use the law of cosines to find Y, right? What's another possibility where we could use the law of sines?
Could you find
Find
the
a
campsite?
lattice.
Yeah, you could find this angle over here with. See how I said you can avoid the ambiguous case most of the time? Alright, here we can.
So,
Wait, that could be wrong there.
so what you say is like we have two answers for
Because
this one.
it's
No,
the
no.
large
Avoid,
angle, so it could be other
don't
side.
find Y using the law of sines.
Why?
Because if you try to use the law of sines, there would be two possibilities.
And one is not working, right?
One won't work. So what you want to do is either use the law of cosines to find Y, since now you know side, side, side.
But for other situation, like we use cosine and we find two answers, how do we check one is
Well,
not?
with cosine, you won't get two answers. Because your other answer with cosine would be bigger than 180, which can't fit in a
Yeah,
triangle.
74.9.
Okay, that's why we don't have to worry about it with the law of cosines.
Sines for the other angle, it has to be 74.9.
So, okay.
Now, if we're doing on a test, will you be able to tell whether or not we go for the ambiguous case or not?
I got 50.
Will I be able to tell?
Yeah. I got 50.7.
Well, yeah, I'll be able to tell because I'll see your work.
That's true.
But-
But you wouldn't know which order we did it in.
Actually, what did you get?
What?
What did you get?
Maybe not, but
For the angle.
114.9. Yeah, because you have to add 79.4 plus 40.
You don't have to do the ambiguous case.
第十题是什么？
Minus speed and degree.
Don't use the law of sines to find angle y directly.
So if we wanna put it in like, in terms of the bearing, will you just keep it the same and just put degrees of bearing north?
Wait, for,
B.
well, once you find y, the bearing is gonna be from due north all the way around, so it'd be 40 plus y.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see here. 65 divided by.
It's 74.
No, because you have to do 75 plus 40.
What is the question thing?
No, because you're trying to figure out how far you are from here to here. And so since you have 40 right here, then you have 75 right here, you just add these two together. Yeah, or 14.9, depending on the change.
What'd you get, Yoshi?
It's a 10.
54.7.
Oh.
50.7.
That's wrong.
It's the same thing as you.
I have that one. Don't work too hard, like, oh. You gotta use, I would love for you.
What about my executive school? Is that what you asked me?
Sure.
I don't know.
It's a little high.
Why did you like it?
I just want ice cream.
No, you don't. I don't.
You don't know what season was? Do you?
What's the
It's the best frozen ice cream.
Yeah, when you round like we were, like we have been. Once you round, use that rounded value. Don't round too much.
I've never had one.
So.
Goes down though. If you live in the same, where do you live?
All right. Do we have solutions for?
Yes. 30 seconds away, so I just go there every day. I used to. I mean, I think it's so months. I had like one ice cream. So if you find the largest angle first or last, you're good. Or if you find it in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, leave the largest angle for last, or do it first with the law of cosines, and you're good. Okay. Just don't make the biggest angle the second one you find. Okay.
You got me 6.
All right. Is anyone having trouble getting to this point?
What is question?
All right. This is just the first two parts. Okay.
I need to do that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now the other two we have to figure out times. Given a speed, all right. How far does Ritva have to go?
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers, right? So here, let's look at C down here. We'll do C in green. C green. All right. So Ritva, 10 kilometers. How fast was he going?
10 kilometers per hour.
10 kilometers per hour. So how long does that take him?
1 hour.
An hour.
1 hour. Okay. So how about Esco?
5.1.
0.93 hours.
Esco traveled 5.63
Over 6.
kilometers and going 6 kilometers per hour. So you can actually see, even without calculating it, it's less than an hour, right?
Yeah, so that's like not, it got to 0.93833, so what is that?
Okay,
An
so
hour?
0.93833.
Yeah,
So that's hours.
so times
Alright.
that 60.
So yeah, if you multiplied it by 60, that would give us something that made a little better sense. Alright, so what does that
That's
equal?
not correct.
That's not right.
It's not correct. It's not 0.93.
It is?
It's
Yeah,
0.893.
5.63 divided by 6. 0.93833 and so
My
on.
calculator is
So
rounding.
that's 56.3 minutes.
My calculator is rounding.
Okay. Yeah, 56.3 minutes. Alright. Okay. So Esco gets there first, and he's gotta wait
4 minutes, around 4 minutes.
3.7 minutes. Okay. Esco gets there first.
I'd be Rick Rock. That'd take forever. That's the same route.
Okay.
How did you
And
convert it?
waits
Would that mean she didn't
How did you
stop?
convert it to minutes?
Yeah, Rick,
You
look.
got it?
3.7
A lot
minutes.
slower, so we have to like chill.
Well, here's the
She walks
thing.
fast,
Did
walks
ask
fast.
her.
Here, listen up. Maybe Esco went or Ritville went the long way around because there was a hill. So he decided to stay on flat ground and go around. Esco had to go slower because he was traveling, up and then down a hill or maybe through the woods or something like that. So he had to go slower, but it was in a shorter distance. So they wanted to figure out what the best way to go was,
Or
and
they just.
the direct route was better. Alright, hey, one last thing, real quick, okay? The last question says, on what bearing should the hikers walk from the campsite to return to P? Okay?
Is P the top? No, P is the side.
P is over here, okay?
You want to subtract 40 points.
So basically, what is this angle right here?
It's.
41 minus 60.
No,
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 40.1 minus
What-
180.
what
and
about
then you add
that?
to it.
No,
That
it's-
is-
That's 20, that's
Okay.
25.
49.
Yeah, hey, look, there's 25, that's 25. Again, you have those alternate interior angles. This is congruent to this, okay? So 360 minus 40 minus, or 0.1 minus 25, what do you get?
200.
294.9.
294.9?
Yeah, you want to
Alright.
start?
Good job, guys.
How many you have?
See ya.
How many you have?